Hi everybody, I'm Sue Dray, and how did I get here? Look, I started out in the 80s as a freelance illustrator, working for everybody and everything I could just get my hands on. Worked solidly for 10 years up until the 90s. I've been teaching literally everywhere, all over England, but mainly at London College of Fashion, the last gig I had. And I've been teaching in America too and Australia, but then I kind of retired from that and went back to my roots as being, I wouldn't say an illustrator anymore, but I'm more like an artist and a fashion artist. I've always I've enjoyed drawing large. When I was drawing at London Fashion Week, I went from like on my lap, like little tiny A3 drawings, and I wanted to go bigger. So I got my easel and I started doing paintings from the catwalk. And I love the size, I love going bigger, and then that has leapt literally to this, which is even bigger still. So I've always loved being uncomfortable when I paint. I don't want to feel like I'm in a nice warm studio with a cup of tea next to me and all my colors. I want to be almost like inhibited in some ways. So being out here in the cold and the rain and the sun, actually it's sunny today, I think it helps me loosen up. I tend to be like more expressive, and I just enjoy the freedom of being able to do large brushstrokes. The whole process is physically demanding, and I've always liked process as well. I like the idea of it not just being a drawing, but there's a process behind the work that contributes to the final outcome. And I think that's always been part of my fascination in whatever I do. Is try to hone in on that period of time between the mental thinking of what you're doing and the actual production of it, but without rendering too much and becoming too finite. I still want to retain the urgency of my brush strokes, and of course when you're working large you can keep that energy, but the time takes longer. So it's kind of like I've got lots of time to do it because it takes time to make big marks, but I still make big marks. So it's like both for me. It's like consolidating the energy of drawing really quickly, but the process is much longer. So really, I'm in my 10th heaven. I really enjoy that part of what I'm doing, and I've learned so much. And I'm 72 this year, and I never thought my younger self, if I told them I'd be up a scaffolding painting, and being just as excited now that I was when I was at art school, I probably would never have believed it. But hey, here it is. So there's longevity in being creative, as long as you keep that passion alive and the enthusiasm for what you do, which I love. I love what I do. So when I was an art student back in the 70s, I went to Central St. Martin's to do my postgraduate, and I was literally surrounded by punk movement. It was the late 70s, so my style kind of evolved through that kind of like attacking the piece of paper, but also the punk movement. And coming down to the King's Road in the 70s was like, you were literally surrounded by them. They all congregated down by outside what is now Versace's gallery, and the whole this King's Road has been kind of imbued in me, from arseholes, the cowboy boot shop, to Vivienne Westwood, World's End up there, the great bookshops, the restaurants, all the little funky shops that were here. Granny Takes a Trip here? I can't remember, but walking down the King's Road was always, you were inspired by, everybody was dressed up, and it was mixing the Sloane Rangers with the punks, with the new romantics. I mean, it was just a vibrant street. So to be kind of back here doing this seems like it's a big circle for me. I love that about parts of my life, that I come back to the beginning. I started out at London College of Fashion. I actually got kicked out because I was a bit of a rebel, but I went back there to run a course years later. So it feels like circles are sort of like all kind of like joining up, and being back in the King's Road is like actually joining up one of those circles. So it's great. I love it, and people are always stopping and talking to me, and it's great. From the guys who are living on the street to the guys that are living in great big mansions, everybody's stopping and has something to say, and it's lovely. I love it. I love being social, so it's really suited the way I'm working too. But yeah, King's Road, we love you.